Hey everyone, Taymour's back. You know, I always like to bring on a DC fan to watch a kind of Marvel movie. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it.
Michael, I've known you since you were a child.
Okay.
You have a gift. You always have. There's an answer to your disease.
I feel like Jared Harris always plays these like professor scientist types in every movie.
Yeah.
He's good at it though.
I should have died years ago.
I think Sony's good at casting. I just don't like their writing.
I have a rare blood disease, and I'm running out of time. This could be my last chance.
You're up to something. What is it?
That's not exactly legal.
I like that they're using this music in the trailer. It's
I want to see you get hurt more than you already have.
Is that who I think that
Be a
is?
cure.
At what cost?
It's not.
Who did you think it was?
Jennifer Connelly. That's a stretch.
What's happening?
I went from dying.
I guess they can legally get away with saying that, but
more alive than ever.
no.
Increased strength and speed.
They're obviously not talking about Marvel Studios.
No.
And an overpowering urge to consume blood.
It kills me if people think that this is probably part of the MCU.
Oh,
Yeah, that's not the same as Spider-Man.
To fix something that's broken.
Matt Smith is in this. Woohoo.
Until the remedy is worse than the disease.
That looks cool.
I mean, I guess.
Michael Morbius. That's how to do the whole good guy thing, huh?
What's up, Doc?
So,
I hate you, Sony!
was that supposed to be Vulture?
Yeah. Clearly, it was supposed to be Vulture. Ah! I am not happy. I know that plenty of people out there are probably so excited, but this... No! I am not okay with it. You can see, it's so abundantly clear, Sony. The sucky part is you're getting away with it.
Yeah.
You're getting away with it because everyone out there is going to assume this is part of the MCU, and because of the agreement that they made, which I'm sure this was part of that agreement, Vulture is not connected to this. See, like, Sony wants to pretend like Disney and Marvel, like, their universe is literally in the same one. Look, I'd be okay with that if Sony didn't put out, and I know I'm going to get so much hate, but I don't care. Hate me, because I want good Spider-Man characters. I don't want mediocre or garbage ones. Does this movie look okay? Yes, it doesn't look bad. It's more enticing to me than Venom was. Venom visually looked fantastic.
I was about to say, I'm kind of getting a little bit of an Underworld vibe from this movie.
Yeah, no.
Just a tad. I mean, like it looks very stylized. Looks very
Right.
cool. I mean, if this movie was just connected to that Raimi series, that would be fine.
I can't wait for Blade to come out in the MCU and blow this one out of the water. Blade is a much more interesting character than Morbius. Morbius is not, don't get me wrong, I liked him. I liked him back in the day as a kid. But he's not as cool as Blade. Blade is also alive because he's half human, half vampire. This guy is kind of in that same realm, except he's more just a vampire who's also alive.
Yep. Would it be cool, do you think, if we saw the two of them on screen at some point?
Yeah, as long as it was something that the MCU created, which this isn't. So not these two intersecting. No. No.
No.
Now, is Tom Holland going to be in these garbage universe world? Yeah. But stop acting like they're the same universe. They can't possibly be, because there is a tonal shift between the two. One is about putting plots together so that you can see it in live action. The other is about great storytelling.
So here's the thing that you would not want like a different Spider-Man. In the Sony universe.
I'm totally fine if they want to put in a different Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
They have every right to. They own it. You've given us the joy of putting Tom Holland into the MCU as Spider-Man. Stop trying to merge the two. I'm fine if they stay separate. That's totally fine. But stop this. Madam Web is also a character in the Spider-Man comics that is an interdimensional character. So she actually sends Spider-Man to different universes. And that's how we get a lot of that cool interaction we see. Or they could go the route that they went with into the Spider-Verse. That's perfectly fine too. But when it comes to Marvel, they're not going to use Madam Web because Sony is making a Madam Web film. The thing that Sony doesn't seem to get is that every time they put out something, Marvel will then go above and beyond not to use it. So stop putting out stuff and just let Marvel do its thing. Make suggestions and leave it at that. I cannot wait, because I don't even care how much hatred I'm going to get on this, but I'm sorry. The MCU is well done. This Venomverse is garbage. Does it look beautiful? Absolutely. Do they have great casting directors and everything? Yes, absolutely. But when it comes to writing, which is the most important part of a film, it's garbage. And I don't care what people have to say. It is. I don't care if Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home was technically more a Sony film than a Marvel film. It was Marvel's creative direction. And don't say from the studio. We all know it's Sony Pictures. We're not idiots. Why can't Sony just do the art for their Spider-Man movies in the MCU and stay away from script writing? Who knows? Morbius might be great. This feels like E.T. Canada when you got that one guy who's like fired up about Star Wars and the other one who's like, okay, I'm just sitting here watching.
I'm clearly not as passionate about this as you are. But I understand where you're coming from. Yeah, I mean, I'll still go watch it. I mean...
I hope there's a free screening so I don't contribute too much to this.
Yeah.
Sony.
Is it too optimistic to say that Michael Keaton's playing a different character in this? Am I just being too optimistic about that?
I'm sure to some degree that might be true. Maybe he's just playing his character pre the Vulture aspect, but he mostly played that anyway. So I feel like any loophole they'll find, they'll go for it. And I get it. You want to be part of the MCU? Well, then be part of the MCU. Don't be something separate and then claim you're part of it. That's just like, that's literally vulturing off of symbioting, according to Sony, because they're stupid and they couldn't correct the actress, who I love, but come on, people. You clearly aren't as passionate about Marvel as Kevin Feige. I don't care what people say. They're not. They're just cool. Loosely glance at the comics. Okay, we get the visual look. Let's just put this on screen now. That's how I feel Sony takes comics. Marvel, sure, they take creative liberties, but they still use the source material. They just rework it in a way that's completely different.
Right.
This movie's going to be extremely successful because Jared Leto's in it. And people like vampires. And people like Spider-Man. And people just want it to happen. But they just don't care enough about the quality.
At least the casting's good.
Hate me. Hate me. The casting looks great. The visual effects, what I've seen, are toned down, but they still look great. It's gonna be visually fun. That's my positive fan theory.
Based on what you're saying, it almost sounds like Sony has some kind of personal vendetta against Marvel, and they just don't want them to have Spider-Man.
I think, no, I know, Spider-Man is their number one moneymaker. Like, when it comes to their entertainment faction of their company. Like, there's no reason why they should ever let go of Spider-Man. They have every right to do what they want. But when you are connecting it to another universe that is not your property, even if there's an agreement, it's irritating as hell when you're trying to act like it's the same universe. I was okay with the concept that they could take Tom Holland, bring him into the Spider-Man universe of Marvel characters, I think is what they call it. Stupid. I'm okay with that, as long as they use some kind of dimensional alternate universe jump where he ends up getting pulled in, and sure, pull in some of his family and friends too. Then that would work. I'm fine. It's totally fine. I'm even okay with him being the only one who goes through, and then there's an alternate universe recasting of all the characters. I mean, that would hurt me, but at least I get my Spider-Man 3, and they make it make sense, because your universe sucks, Sony. I don't think Sony is a villain. I just think they're dumb and they have bad taste. They even have every right to say, from the studio that brought you Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home, and Venom. Every right to say that. Those are the 3 top selling movies, like, period. Like, from Sony.
Yeah.
Period. Of course you're going to use them. It was irritating because they had very minimal to do with those 2 Spider-Man movies, other than ching, ching, ching. And they are technically responsible for Tom Holland. Okay. Like, Marvel actually didn't have as great of a choice that they were looking at. Asa Butterfield. That's originally who Marvel was looking at. And I'm so surprised that they were, but they were. So kudos to you, Sony. You are great with casting. Like, they are. They've proven it time and time again. There's a reason why J. Jonah Jameson was in that last Spider-Man movie. That it was the same one, because he's great.
So you weren't mad about that, because technically he's from the Sony Raimi trilogy.
Well, the idea is that it's an alternate universe.
Okay.
But it's the same JJ.
Gotcha.
It's fine. It's totally fine.
It's totally fine. It's fine.
The issue I have all across the board really is when the 2 universes are supposed to be the same. No. There's no way that Venom and Ant-Man live in the same city.
No.
There's no way that Ant-Man and the Wasp, what took place in that movie, happens in the same place that Venom happens. I'm not okay with it. They don't at all connect. Those worlds don't make sense together.
Yeah.
No. Sony's not a villain. They have every right to do what they want with Spider-Man. But stop trying to act like you're the MCU, because you are not. That's it. Just stop trying. Make your own Spider-Man universe. That's fine. I enjoyed Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies. Even mildly the 3rd one at times. And I even enjoyed Amazing Spider-Man. Just the first one. There was a lot of bad moments in that, but still, I still liked it. Everything else is garbage. And Venom, terrible writing. Just terrible. Terrible plot, terrible character development. If there is any, there really wasn't. No chemistry. Sorry. I'm walking away. I'm Kyle Eilerman, producer and creator of Fan Theory TV. I would starve without your help by supporting me over at patreon.com/fantheorytv. It would also be really nice if you click this button, like, subscribe, stay notified with that bell.